Alright everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to check out the Year 5 Season 1 Phase 2 PTS patch notes. We're going to go over the changes obviously from Phase 1 and just see what's happening here. There's I've had a quick look through here. There's quite a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff in here as well, which we'll get to. So let's get into this one straight away. So we've opened the title update PTS or title update 18 PTS for PC players on April 21st. You can find some of the changes and fixes we implemented based on your feedback. You can also find known issues for the Phase 2 as well. So just starting off then with the Descent mode. So many of you dove straight into Descent to explore the new 1 to 4 player PvE mode, and were quick to share your thoughts. We wanted to acknowledge some of the key changes. So difficulty post Nemesis levels difficulty based on the feedback received during the PTS Phase 1. Post-Nemesis difficulty was dramatically increased up to 39% compared to the previous version. So yeah, from what I understand is that it became very easy after the Nemesis was defeated. I think they actually stopped scaling as well at, I think it was maybe level 30, which they don't mention here, but it is going to be harder as well, which is good. It says difference between single and co-op experience, better balance between health, damage and armor, increased difference between veteran, elite and boss level enemies, and adjusted the rational level design system used for balancing and difficulty scaling. So I would say that overall, as someone who played on my own, I don't think it was overly difficult, really, until you get to Nemesis, which was actually fairly difficult. Well, actually was really hard. So yeah, moving on, hazards. Change the placement and affected areas for some of the hazards, making them more intrusive or visible during gameplay. Remove the option to bypass hazards from the shop, and increase the frequency of occurrence. I said this in my review, but the hazards for me didn't really feel like much of a hazard. I never at any point felt as though they were impeding me, really. And so if this is a change that makes hazards more of a hazard, then that's probably a good change. XP and rewards. Starting with PTS Phase 2, the new reward system will be in place. XP earned for completing Descent levels will be split into 3 categories. XP awarded to players that have not yet reached level 40. XP awarded to players that have reached level 40 and moved onto the Shade level progression path. And then seasonal XP to help level 40 players progress through the seasonal rewards track. And then you move on to rewards are based on the maximum Descent loops reached and comprise of sealed caches that will be sent to the player's inventory upon completing the Descent run and returning to their main character. Please note that the level mentions refer to the main game character outside of Descent. So 1 to 29 you get a field proficiency cache, and then we get crafting cache, material caches. So 11 to 29 weapon crafting cache, 11 to 29 gear crafting cache, 11 to 39 recalibration cache, 30 to 40 craft and material cache. Levels 1 to 40 you get the exotic cache excluding raid exotics. And then we got this new simulation cache, which is level 30 to 39 simulation cache containing superior high-end quality items. And then at level 40, simulation cache containing high-end quality items with a 15% chance of dropping gear sets and named gear and weapons. And then 40 plus level, we got the new reconstructed cache containing named weapons and gear from seasons 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you've missed out on those seasons and there's particular named weapons that you want, and all that sort of stuff, then this kind of is a good way to target farm that stuff, I guess. So yeah, overall that's there's the reward. So pretty cool. Unlike Countdown where you collect points and have to go and spend them on stuff, I believe this is probably just going to give you to them at the end of each run. Stability improvements and other changes. Improved stability to prevent crashes, updated talent descriptions, just your general fixes here. Sounds, revive token, added departure timer. Okay. So Year 5 Season 1 Broken Wings talents. The perfect companion talent is used on the named chest Henry. Was not a mistake and we intend to keep it. Revamp the damage reduction from skills to damage reduction from all sources, so the charging talent won't affect other damage dealing talents and grenades. Updated the defibrillator talent description. Updated the overcharging and safe charging talent descriptions. So we've got some fixes here. More fixes. Moving on to gear and weapons. Changed the incoming skill damage to incoming damage and lowered the value for the Cavalier gear set. Talent charging. For each second spent out of cover during combat, agents will get 5% reduced incoming damage, max of 40%. So 8 seconds out of cover during combat will give you a 40% damage reduction, which, I mean, it was 50, it's down to 40. That's pretty huge. Talent charged, while fully charged, gain immunity to any movement speed debuff and share hazard protection and the damage reduction with all allies for 10 seconds. So once you get up to that 8 seconds, if you're in a group, then everyone in your team is getting the same. Wow. If that's reading as am I reading this right? Because that to me seems crazy. Chest bonus, talent overcharge, and increases charge of max incoming damage protection to 50%. So you could give, if I'm reading this correctly, you could give every person on your team hazard protection, immunity to movement speed debuffs, and 50% damage reduction from all sources. Cavalier gear set has the correct name. Remove the dice slot from the St. Elmo's engine exotic AR. Some other fixes in here. The Shocker Punch exotic holster no longer has maxed core attribute. Mod slots named weapons from the PTS crafting cache no longer have the base gear rarity grey. So moving on. Quality of life improvements. There's some good stuff in here, guys. Conflict XP rebalance, added shade XP progression. This is something that I know PvPers have been asking for the longest time. And so what that XP looks like, I don't know, but I do hope it's significant enough that people who play PvP would go and play PvP in order to rank up their shade levels. Yeah, that's cool. The Living World Activities XP gains revamp. Okay, so there's the XP revamp that they're testing out in this PTS. What that looks like, I don't know. So we'll have to go and check it out. I suspect that some of the activities that give high levels of XP, like your resource convoys and stuff, they would have probably been nerfed, and then other stuff that maybe takes a lot longer, control points for example, whilst it might take a lot longer, you're going to get a lot more XP, and so it's a bit more balanced. That's what I hope they've done, so we'll have to wait and see. Added the grants tab to make compensation process more streamlined, items easy to obtain. Added an option to allow players to change mission difficulty regardless of the world difficulty setting. That's a really good change because I hate having to do that, so yeah, that's really good. Added quick grenade selection menu, hold G for PC and hold the D-pad left for the consoles. Cool. Added an option to mark apparel events items as favourite. Added directives selections for raids. Okay, so directives are coming to raids. Added the option to show selected mission directives in the mega map. Added the possibility to hold escape or space to skip videos and epilepsy warnings. Okay. Added a new in loadout section at the bottom of the item details window in the inventory under a gear pieces, talent and mod slots to display the current loadouts where the selected items are present. Okay. Added a notification widget for modding primary, secondary and sidearm weapon skins slot. And then added visual feedback for locked grenades. When browsing through the grenades menu in the inventory, players will see a notification which lets them know if the selected grade can be equipped or not. Okay, and then we've got known issues for talents, gear and weapons, and all this stuff is going to be obviously on the PTS. So yeah, if you are playing through the PTS and you want to know what they are, here they are, and you can just read for those. You can pause the video if you want. Descent, again, known issues, and then quality of life improvements. The Living World Activities Rebalanced and Revamped is only available to players who have their difficulty set to Heroic. Please be aware that since we do not have difficulties activated in the PTS build and players join in with their own difficulty settings, the ones who don't have Heroic on won't be affected by the XP revamp. Okay. And it just says thank you very much for joining us. So, yeah, I mean, overall, some pretty impressive stuff here. I mean, I'm glad they've got the rewards for the Descent mode. We're going to have to see how that pans out. I'm really want to see how these XP firemen's going to change, because I know that when a new season comes out, everyone just hits up the resource convoys to get it as fast as they can. I'd much rather personally play through control points knowing I'm progressing as fast as someone who is perhaps doing the resource convoys, because I much prefer to play somewhere like control points, which are much more engaging in my opinion. So that's really cool. And then this change here to this Cavalier gear set, I don't know what this looks like in game. I'm sure there'll be videos out, if not now, very soon, about how this looks. But from on the surface, this looks incredibly strong. So we're going to have to see how that works out. But that's it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next one, Epic out.